Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the garage, and well, I'm back. So we took a little hiatus there for about a month or so since we last ran the truck at the track and destroyed the intermediate shaft of our 48 RE. So to me that was a perfect time, especially with hunting season coming right around the corner and all that. It was perfect time to take a little break. The track's gonna be closed and all that. So when we, a couple days after that, I took the trans to the guys at Muldoon's. We pulled it apart just so I could get an idea of the damage, see kind of what we were looking at, and see how bad it was. And yeah, that was gonna be the end of 2020 right there. So once again, went on a little hiatus for hunting season, just catch my breath, and then I got sick for like a week, so it was like a whole thing, but finally trying to get back in the groove. Now, on to our 48 RE. What was the damage? How bad was it? It was impressive. When we pulled it out, the guys at Muldoon's, first thing they said, wow, it was pretty bad. So when a billet intermediate goes, it's not good. So here is kind of our carnage that we have. So of course our intermediate shaft completely blew apart here. So this was a billet. I believe this is a TCS, the cheaper TCS billet shaft. This is one of the parts that was in the transmission from when it was built originally for Caitlin, my gray Dodge, when I had 48 swapped that. And this is one of the only parts, this and the output shaft, I believe, were two of the only parts that carried over and have been with the trans. So this thing is about 6 years old, seen nothing but abuse, and it finally just gave up the ghost. As you can see, very, very bad. So if you guys remember, when we pulled the transmission, I couldn't get the torque converter off. I actually had to pry it off. So the problem was when this thing broke, it then would ride up, like this, kind of jamming everything forward, and it cocked our input shaft in the pump. Once we pulled everything apart, everything was fine, it straightened back out. I originally thought maybe we bent that solid input, but we did not. So this exploding like this, and if you can see, it's right at one of the oil feed holes. So that is where the weak link was for that shaft. Once again, like 6 years old, see nothing but abuse. So like I said, it cocked the input shaft. So then if you look at our pump right here, I don't know if you guys will be able to make that out. Our pump is actually cracked like almost all the way around. Pretty bad failure. So we need a pump. Our one, this is the forwardmost planetary. It's the one that, does it sit? Yeah, it sits inside the sun shell here, I believe. But yeah, as you can see, it just completely disintegrated. Yeah, this is impressive. Unfortunate, but impressive. As you can see, John and them, they weld these things all up. It even cracked the weld on there because, well, you see what happened. We pried our clutch packs off of it. Had to, kind of get creative getting them off of there. And then once I was able to hit this, I actually had to hit it out of here, and it just kind of crumbled and fell to pieces. But yeah, that planetary is completely smoked. It's just bad. But if you look, all of our clutches still look good. A little bent up and trying to get them off of there, but they're junk. Our Torrington bearing is junk that John and them machined for for the inside of this thing. That's junk. The other rear planetary actually didn't turn out too bad, but a couple of the teeth on these planets are chipped up and broken. So this thing's no good. We're gonna need another one of them. Our sun shell, as you can see, the inner gear of that has destroyed, and it tore up the inside of the sun shell. I mean, this thing's just, as you can see, that's all cracked up and broken up. So we need a whole gear train for the transmission. We need, planets, we need sun shell, we need a pump. So I am looking for two 48 RE cores. I would like to stick with a 48 just so we have the 6-pinion planet, give it a little bit more strength. If we have to do a 47 eventually, that's what we might do. The reason I would like to have two cores is to kind of replace all the broken stuff in this and then have spare parts. And the other thing is I want to build a second transmission. That way if we go to an event or something like this happens, just pull it out, put the new transmission and torque converter in, and keep going. Hopefully something like this doesn't happen again. We're going to definitely upgrade our intermediate shaft once more. Maybe I should have done that from the get-go, but it was kind of like 50-50. Should you not? And apparently maybe we should have. I don't know, but hindsight's always 20/20. So if you guys know of any 48 cores that aren't outrageously priced, because I've been looking at them and people just want an arm and a leg, and then like a lot of people are selling a built transmission, but they're not built to the level of this one, so we have to do all kinds of upgrades anyway. So if you have one and you're somewhere in the southeastern Pennsylvania area or near there or within a couple hours, hit me up on Instagram or something like that. Send me a DM and maybe we can work out a deal, and that way we can get this thing back moving under its own power. So that's unfortunate, and as you can see, just that was the end of our 2020 season. So we also picked up from Logan Built this SFI bell housing shield, I think it is, or whatever. But this is actually the last piece of the puzzle. He just started producing these. It's a very fine piece. Obviously I haven't had a chance to install it yet, but basically what it does is it'll bolt up. It'll bolt up, but you know, between the bolts and the transmission here, and then we have a shield for our bell housing. Any truck running under a 10-second quarter mile has actually been illegal because they don't have an SFI one of these. Logan's the first one to make it. It's a fair price. He was quick to ship it. Obviously we don't need it right yet, but pick that up from him. Quality piece. Once again, it makes it so we are safe, we're compliant. So with this, our transmission blanket from Suncoast and our Suncoast SFI rated flex plate, we're good to go. So hit him up on the Instagram, Logan Built. He's selling these things, and yeah, if you're going to be running a sub 10-second quarter mile, definitely a good idea to have. So on to tonight's project. So I've had plans for the truck for the winter, nothing completely radical. As you guys know, I'm not going to back half the truck. I spent a lot of nights while I was off trying to figure out what I wanted to do back here. And the problem was, the more I looked at it, the more I wanted to back half the truck. But I'm not going to do that, and I'm not going to get caught in that same problem we had the last couple of years of building a cage and all that. I want the truck to be ready to go end of February, so that way we can take it out and get some passes under it before racing season starts. So what we're going to do, my original plan was to do a micro back half, if you will. So everything behind our coilovers does nothing other than to support the bed and hold the parachute and all that. So I was originally going to make, like I said, a micro back half, and pretty much I was going to cut it here, move our coilovers over, and have a piece of tube come out. But I was afraid that if I had a tube come all the way out to here, I'd have to redo all this, of course, but I was afraid that I was going to have to gusset it back down, and really how much weight would we be saving by having all that tube? So what I've decided to do, and I'm not going to say that we won't change this later, but for tonight, we're actually going to make our box frame a C-channel frame. So we're going to cut right behind this tube here, and we're going to take this inside plate out, and we're going to leave our parachute mount, and we'll leave it boxed in, and then we can cut the end of the frame off here as well. So that way we are actually losing weight that we don't need back here. Strength wise for the parachute, like I said, we're going to leave this boxed. We might even put a plate in there to make it fully boxed there, and probably do the same thing up at the coilovers. And that'll get some more weight off the truck. That is not doing anything for us. Like I said, originally I was going to just do everything out of tube, but I don't have any tube, and I think we can cut enough weight out of here that it wouldn't, it would make doing the whole tube thing not worthwhile, especially since I would like to back half the truck next year after we get this thing running at the track and we can get some good passes under our belt. So that's the game plan. Let's get to grinding. All right, so quite a bit of cutting later, and we got the passenger side here all cut down. Got the C-channel look to it. Cut that plate out. Also knocked the back here off. I cut this mount off for the bed because I think we can suck that in, and that way we just don't we have less of a nub hanging out. That being said, I've actually spent a lot of time looking at it and thinking about it. And yeah, I just don't care for how it looks. It just sort of looks incomplete. So I haven't decided what to do, whether I get a piece of tube and just span both, like both sections of frame, make them both a C-channel and then span it, like go to the inside wall. I'm not sure if that's the route I want to go. Or if we just cut it here and then come up with like a solution for the back with tube and kind of gusset it or whatnot. But we accomplished what I set out to on the one side, and it just, yeah, quite honestly, it looks like crap. But yeah, I'm gonna have to think about this a little further. Like I said, I just don't care for how it looks. This doesn't look done. It looks half-assed. It looks just bleh. So we're gonna stop there for tonight. We really didn't get much accomplished. It's not turning out how I kind of thought it would, and I'm just not happy with it. So we're gonna take a step back. I'll figure out a solution, and then we will revisit this and get that done. We have parts on the way for some of our other winter projects for the race truck. Really not anything major. We're not gonna go hog wild, like I said. Basically, my plan is have this thing ready to go end of February, so that way we can test it and be ready to race come race season. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to start trying to get videos back out regularly and kind of get back in the swing of things. So anyway, hope you liked the video. Please subscribe down below. Catch you guys on the next one. Get out in your garage, get the wrenching on your truck.